when Larry and I first met, most people start businesses because they have this long-standing personal relationship, or they're brothers, or they're mother and father, or father and son. It didn't work that way for the two of us. Instead, by chance, I ended up renting a small office in a law firm that Larry was already working at. I did my business, I was doing my personal injury work, and Larry couldn't stand some of the people that he was working with. So
it wasn't a good culture fit for me.
Exactly. And so he would duck out into my office, and we would just bullshit and talk. And I think Larry, he was only in his 20s at the time, recognized that the risk that I was taking in that company, in that law firm, by spending all of my own money on my cases at such a young age, it was a risk that couldn't at that time be protected.
Right.
And I'll never forget, you sitting in I was reading The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success at that time by Deepak Chopra. And I was trying to be all zen and shit and trying to, organize my life and let good things come to me as opposed to trying to pressure things that I was trying to get. And it was at that time that you came to me and asked me that question as to whether there was a way I could protect my costs. And I think in most cases, that kind of conversation between two lawyers would just end. And that would be it. Oh, no, there's no way to do that. And we would move on. But that is not how we did it. Instead, when we realized that there was a major problem that had not yet been solved, we went to work.
We did. We shook hands that day, and we decided to become partners. And that was the beginning of what's still going on today. And you're absolutely right. I think 99.999% of discussions like that would end after that day.
Yeah.
But we executed, and we followed through, and it took years for us to get to market. And I think that was the first journey that we went on together outside of practicing law, but being business people. And not just being business people, but being novices in an industry that we knew virtually nothing about.
Yeah.
And I think that the lessons that we learned from being in enormous boardrooms and huge, international insurance carriers peppering us with questions, most of which we didn't know the answer to when they were technical insurance questions, but we learned. Every single meeting we improved. And I think no matter what, we weren't afraid.
Right.
We weren't intimidated. And I think that characteristic has really been one of the keys to us getting to where we are today, is not being afraid, not being intimidated, and understanding what we didn't know, but not letting that ever stop us.
Or necessarily letting other people know that we didn't know.
Yeah, we're good actors.
Yeah, well, I guess when you're a trial lawyer, you're always somewhat of an actor because you're putting on a show in front of a jury. But it was I'll never forget. So when we first started talking with one very, very large insurance company that I'm not going to name, they invited us to go into this conference room. They flew down from another state to meet with us. They invited us to go to a conference room, what we thought was just going to be a discussion. And we walk into this room to talk about why Level Insurance should be a great product for them to accept within their company. And they had 4 television screens staring at us with 4 faces that we had never seen.
From all over the world.
And they were there to basically try to prove why our idea sucked.
Yeah.
The whole idea was that all of them were either lawyers or quasi-lawyers or wannabe lawyers, and they were all trying to break down what the guy who came to meet with us really wanted to do. He wanted to do it, but he had to go through all these bureaucratic channels, and their goal was to break us down. And
that was the first of many times where we had walked into a boardroom or a conference room and essentially been ambushed.
Yeah. It's that was the craziest thing. But the best part about that, and every other conversation that we ever had with an insurance carrier before we finally got the product to start in 2016, is that the people that we would approach to talk about this would come in with a negative, immediate thought about what the product was. Because, listen, what the product is, we are insuring plaintiff lawyers so that if they lose their case at trial, they get all their money back. We're providing insurance to a world that has been battling insurance companies for decades. And for insurance companies to provide support to what ultimately has been their sworn enemy for so many years is sort of unheard of. Yeah. But at the end of the day, these companies are in it to make a profit, and if they can see a product that is profitable, they're going to want to do it. But for us, the first thought from all of these insurance-minded people was, how could I ever get behind a product like that? But when the conversation was over, they were all believers.